Okay, I want to say hello again everybody, it's only me, wushurichard, and in this video I thought I would talk to you. I'm just sitting here, I've just finished doing some exercise. It's one of the most hottest days here you can imagine in the tropics, burning heat in South China, and in this video I want to just talk to you basically about my martial art and what I do as a martial artist in terms of styles. And this year, it's the year 2017, okay? And how do I feel about the state of the martial arts? Well, as I've said before, in this video, it's the year 2017. Okay, we're near the end of May, and it's burning hot summertime. I'm 34 years old. I'm nearly 35, so I'm 34 and a half years old. I was born in 1982. My real name is Richard Clark, but it's wushurichard online, as you might know, as you know. I was born in London, England in 1982, and I got involved in the martial arts like around 12 years of age. I was around that age, and I remember starting out in karate with my first martial art, karate. Which style of karate, to this day I still don't know what style it was, but I was learning a style of karate excuse me, by the teaching and guidance of Sensei Basil Fraser, who was a great karate instructor. Okay. Later on, I learned from different teachers. Okay, different martial arts. So as I went up through my life, I started to study different arts. Formal training, the most formal training I've had in martial arts is in karate. This is in order. Okay. Karate I studied for around 3 years or so. Then I went up to kickboxing, where I studied under a number of different trainers in kickboxing in one particular school. It was actually Martial Fitness. Okay, this place was called Martial Fitness in Putney. And the reason I took to that, the reason I wanted to join the school was not because of boxing or kickboxing. In fact, at the time I was never interested in boxing or kickboxing. I wanted to learn a Chinese martial art, or Kung Fu, because I was so so inspired by the Kung Fu Chinese movies I'd seen at the time. I was in my my late teens. I was getting very much into like movies, like Jackie Chan, of course. Jet Li was one of my main inspirations, and I wanted to learn more about Chinese martial arts. But anyway, this particular school, this on the window, on the advertisement, okay, it was like nearby where I lived too. There was this kickboxing school that was like really popular. It still is like one of the most popular or biggest schools going. Okay, they've got so many students. They make a lot of money. They're very popular. They've even trained people. They're very successful. They're really good. They've trained people. They enter the competitions and stuff. And they've even trained people, as I say, in different kinds of things, and even for TV shows as well. But I'm just saying, okay, I don't know any of the shows that I've seen, but I know they've trained people from TV and film. They've got a very unique method. They've got unique methods of training in the school at that time, especially. But the teacher that was, I had one particular teacher amongst all of them, who I'm very grateful to, especially compared to other teachers, and his name was Fred Elson. And Fred Elson was just a fantastic man. He was an older aged man, but he had such passion for the martial arts. And anyway, what I'm saying though is, I wanted to really, get involved in or really study the Chinese martial arts, the Kung Fu and all that, Kung Fu, Kung Fu, whatever. And it was really, really hard to find a teacher or a good teacher or a school of any Kung Fu nearby where I lived. I always lived in around South London most of my life, where I was born. I believe I was born in South East. That was in King's College Hospital, I do believe. Moved to the Southwest, then moved back to the Southeast later. But there was a time where I was actually travelling back and forth to the centre of London, the West End, to work. I was working in different jobs as well, and sometimes I'm travelling through London, as well, for different reasons. And I ended up looking around there and finding schools, and I just got more and more, outgoing, I guess. So when it comes to travelling and finding places, and I found, and I was really into it. I wanted to learn Kung Fu, and I wanted to find what schools were out there and available to me in terms of what I could afford and my time, my free time, and everything. But basically, what happened was for the meantime, I started going to this kickboxing school, and the reason I joined this kickboxing school, which was like really near to home, really 15-20 minutes on the bus or whatever. And the reason why, okay, I used to do that, go to this kickboxing school, was on the window they had advertisements for Kung Fu. Now they didn't say which kind of Kung Fu it was. I even asked somebody there, and somebody told me, well, it's kind of like Jeet Kune Do, you know. And I was thinking to myself, well, this is obvious that this seems to be a mixture of, because I studied for a while there. I studied for 3 years in this school, mainly for the Kung Fu aspects, but it was basically a mixture of different martial arts. Basically, it wasn't just it wasn't your common style. It wasn't a long fist, wushu or Kung Fu, Wing Chun, animal style or Tai Chi, nothing like that. It was just like a style of martial arts. It seemed to be a mixture of different things. It seemed like very combat orientated thing. A lot of karate element. It seemed like very traditional karate kind of stances, karate blocks, a lot of karate in there, but it seemed like it joined so many other elements. They had kickboxing elements. You would actually kickbox spar with the kickboxing people too, and it was like split. Sometimes they'd have kickboxing training on one side of the room with one instructor. Very big school it was, different rooms, and amazing facilities and everything you can imagine. Nice facilities, but nice equipment to train with, pads, bags, everything you can imagine. It was like we would train under like kickboxing rules and stuff, and but it was like, still, this guy, this Fred Elson, was one of the trainers that was more focused towards, and he had classes for Kung Fu classes, and it wasn't just kickboxing and such. But it wasn't it was their own style, the way I see it. To me, apologise if I'm wrong if I don't know much about it, but it seemed to be a style of martial art that just took a lot of elements from different arts. You may have seen stuff from jiu-jitsu, aikido, like self-defense locks and traps, self-defense movements, strikes, all the basics, striking, hands, legs, all that fighting, martial art basics, stuff you might find in taekwondo, you might find in hapkido, okay, karate, kung fu elements. A lot of different self-defensive sweeps, takedowns, all kind of movements like that were thrown in with this kickboxing / kung fu mix, karate mix kind of thing. And so I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but it was like I was okay. I was doing it, and I was still watching all my Chinese movies. I was very inspired by, but I was doing this, and also I started to later loosen up and just start going to the kickboxing classes for the simple reason that I wanted to use the facilities and I wanted to get a bit more practice with the sparring with people. Now, obviously, when you're doing kickboxing sparring, or the sparring that I was doing at the time, we were padded up. It was mainly kickboxing, and the whole school had a very kickboxing orientated thing. This was a kickboxing club, no doubt about it. They had other things like basic knife self-defense, and they had like yoga classes on certain days too. But the workouts were extreme, real hardcore workouts we used to do, very, very hard, sweating it out, grueling. You'd be sicking it up. Your clothes would be drenched after that workout. To lose weight and keep fit, this was what it was about, martial fitness, it really was. But it was like the fighting and the martial arts, it was that as well, real deal training, Anyway, I was still determined, and I wanted to learn more about martial arts, more traditional Chinese martial arts especially. Later on I started to get more interested in things like ninjutsu and aikido, and I looked into elements of things like that. And other kinds of karate and things like kempo, which I really also respect. It's a good art. But what I'm trying to say now, the formal training, my formal training from there, I continued and I did like 3 years of 5 animal kung fu, 5 animals basically is southern Shaolin, I started like crane, tiger, leopard, tiger, crane, leopard, snake and dragon it should have been, but we never learned dragon, we learned some of the mantis, because there are different animals in the styles too about kung fu, and a lot of people don't even know this, young people and that, they just think of like Kung Fu Panda, Disney cartoon movies and stuff, but this is real though. There were true traditional arts of animal styles of kung fu which are very, very useful. I want to say that. Now, for self-defense, I got a lot of training in this southern Shaolin school. We did basic qigong. We used to train for hours on end, only twice a week. But on the other days, I was still going to the kickboxing classes and that, and doing their style of kung fu and kickboxing. And I was training like 6 or 7 days a week, like, you know, when not working, you know. And I was really, really fit. I was really training my kicks a lot and stretching. I really fit and healthy. And, you know, it was great. It's great for everyone, men and women of all different ages and builds. And but you know, the kung fu though was a different level. That was my first proper, like, I mean, that was the best school. That's what I'm trying to say. I had the best formal training in a southern style of real kung fu. It wasn't a wushu style system of that, but it was like really good southern Shaolin kung fu. Okay, under Sifu Yap Leong. Okay, it was great. Okay, and he was very disciplined, demanding of his students. We learned about breath. We learned about the 5 elements, the 5 animals, the basic qigong breathing exercises, conditioning on the forearms, how to get those solid arms blocking, you know, and also how to use simple tactics of kung fu. That was really like my first real encounter with studying what I class as traditional real kung fu, because you were learning all the different kinds of blocks and counters with the hands simultaneously and the footwork and everything, as well as stances and forms with solid stances. And it was like very, very traditional, you know, and the philosophy too, and different concepts of hard and soft, big and small and all that. Yeah. But basically, you know, I was training there, and a lot of that come to me. And there was a lot of elements, okay, we would train in the actual school with a lot of blocking drills and conditioning with the arms and feeling and sensitivity. They had sticky hands methods and other application techniques, which are, a lot of them were very similar to Wing Chun, as I say, Wing Chun, okay, Wing Chun Kung Fu, and be a lot of different kinds of training we do. And there was also a lot of students in that class who had background and who were studying Wing Chun, so I was lucky to study with a few people there. From there, I started to get very fascinated also, not more, but like I said, also I started to get more interested in Wing Chun on the side. And what I was doing in my free time was I was actually learning. I was like, I went to a couple of schools and learned for a few weeks here and a few weeks there, two schools in particular, plus watching Wing Chun seminars and going to Wing Chun other classes just to look at. I even did a couple of other things, like I went to watch a Tang Soo Do school I went to have a look at. I've been to other schools, talking to other people. I went to, travelling around London, this is in the UK, I went to a Taekwondo school for a couple of classes, in 2 different schools actually, I tried. So I was trying different things out, never leaving my karate roots. I've a lot of respect to the karate because it's good foundation, coordination training. So it's all building up over time. Started to buy lots of books, lots of videos. This is before we had the internet, you know, and before we had, even before I had any video cameras or anything, so I couldn't film myself and study my own progress. But it was like I was only training in my free time, and I was just developing as a young person, you know, developing in my free time when I wasn't working and stuff. And it was like everything was building up. I was reading books, and I started to buy these video cassettes, you know, and DVDs later on. But it was like video VHS cassettes at the time, you know, 80s, 90s, and it was like about Wing Chun and other self-defense. I bought a very interesting video cassette I remember watching. There was a couple of good Wing Chun ones, and there was another one about kicking and stretching and other things like that, and self-defense tactics. You know, and I was just looking at all the different arts that were out there, and I realised that there were so many different styles, especially of Kung Fu, and I realised, started to learn, you know, what Wushu was, and then Tai Chi and the applications of real combat Tai Chi, you know, and all of that, and I started to become so fascinated in all the arts. And then even later on, I started to look into the arts, like more into boxing and kickboxing and even Muay Thai. Things that I don't really like because of the grappling, so because of the competition, and all of that. I was never into grappling either. What got me more into grappling later on was the Tai Chi, basically, learning, and also the sticky hands Wing Chun, and learning more about Wing Chun as I went along. Which is, Wing Chun is my main art now, as I say, what I do, but I incorporate everything else into it, but I feel more comfortable with the Wing Chun that I understand and what I've trained, and so I teach people my way of martial arts, but it's like Wing Chun focused a lot on the basics of self-defense. There's a lot of basics in there, it's just simple, but it's like, it really works well. I love sticky hands, I love Tai Chi pushing hands, same with Bagua. As I say, I come to China, and when I come to China, I continued learning Kung Fu, but I found different teachers. I learned wushu, long fist wushu, and weapons training, okay, broadsword and some bow staff. I learned some forms. I've taught myself numerous forms also from watching online videos, just watching and training, plus also trying to develop my own, just training from my own flows and just exploring my training. Like people do shadow boxing and things like that. well, not only do I do that, but I also do shadow boxing and also practicing and developing my own methods, like creating forms and patterns and just drills of training that make me comfortable. I like to train, you know, my own expression of the martial arts, I guess you could say. And again, just exercising, just freely listening to my body. I've been training under so many different schools and learning about different kind of methods of exercise and fitness designed for different arts, but different arts to different levels fit you and who you are for your body. And it's the same for the working out that fits those. So you have to work out and find out what your body, how you need to work out, basically. Different arts I found have different, you know, there's good and bad parts of different arts, but I love all of the arts. But it's about how you make things work for you is what it's about. It's not what's the best art or the worst art. Try to avoid fights in general in terms of self-defense, but if you need to, it's good. If you need to defend yourself, it's good to have a lot of different understanding of a lot of traditional fighting martial arts. And when I say like things like Muay Thai and things like that, see, I'm not interested in sport fighting. It's the same as MMA. I don't like it. I'm just not interested in these kind of arts, or you know what it stands for in terms of like the competition fighting. But it's like for self-defense and fitness, yeah, there's a lot of good training you can do in different arts. You can't do everything. I mean, there's so many arts out there. Silat, you know, Sistema, judo, grappling, wrestling. There's so many things out there, you know. But you just find what fits you. You know, I'm a fan of certain arts, as I say. I love certain arts. Not only Chinese arts, but also like some other Japanese, a bit of Korean and Thai. You know, but I'm just saying, I like to fit what fits me. I've got different training methods I do with my training too, like just basic boxing maneuvers. But I wouldn't call myself a real like boxer or grappler, but I do a bit of that, you know, in there. I focus mainly on the traditional arts and what I know. So as I say, later on I learned some more Tai Chi, I learned some basics with people. But again, even with that, I didn't get the best formal training. I did get formal training in Bagua for a short time. I was learning some basics of that, and we did hard training in that with another teacher here in China. That was, I forgot to mention also before is that I also did learn some weapons training, self-defense. Weapons training tactics, martial arts in the southern style back in England too, with my teacher there, which was double short sticks, butterfly knives, a southern Shaolin style, not Wing Chun. A bow staff there also, and a broadsword there. And then, as I say, when I come to China, I learned like the wushu long fist style and the Shaolin kind of styles. I'm saying long fist, like a long style, and northern styles, or like a bow staff, a bit of bow staff, but mainly broadsword. I sort of explored lots of things, lots of different training methods from books and videos online and things like that too, to incorporate. Talk to other people who are interested in martial arts. And plus, when YouTube came out, that was it. There was so many videos and so much stuff that inspired me. And people say you can't learn from videos, but I've learned a lot from videos also. You can't be face-to-face, hand-to-hand with real good instructors and people that have got experience. But you can learn a lot about bodily movement and the science of it by watching now and practicing. You have to practice and find what works for you, but you've got to find it, you know, and learn and understand, study, and practice what you study and study what you practice. You know, in terms of like forms and certain patterns, how you move the body, you can learn a lot from watching videos still. There's a lot of good ninjutsu videos out there and different things, you know, and aikido and things like that, and it all works in basic self-defense from grabs and how to place your bodily structure to stand strong and turn and control that center line and defend yourself, and everything about routes you just learn, but you have to always work out. Now I've been in China, as I say, until this time here. It's 2017 in this video. I've been training every day, almost every day, hours on end, sometimes all day. But it's like, you know, it's very normal for me to train 4 or 5 hours in a day of hardcore martial art in general. But I used to go running early in the morning, but when I was doing my wushu training and stuff, but it was like, now it's like I just do my training by myself. I've not trained with a teacher for many, many years. That was back in 2005, 6-ish, around 2005 it was. That's when I got my last bit of training with a teacher as such. But since then until now, I've just been training by myself, apart from also with some other people who either know some martial arts or nothing. And usually I'm just like teaching students and teaching people just my bit to young people who don't know anything about martial arts hardly and just want to know some basic training. I don't put myself on any level. I'm humble, and I say This is all it is. I know what I know, you know, and I've explored my training methods, and I've built different syllabuses over the years and training plans for people just to teach them basic self-defense, basic working out and things like that. Sometimes with a group of young students, or sometimes with like one-on-one, which is easier. You know, it depends. It's the heart of the students really, which is what it's about, time and effort and all of that. But for me, it's not a hobby. It's a passion. It's a way of life. It is my life. It's not just part of my life. It helps me in everything I do in life. And martial arts will be forever with me. It basically is my life driving force of life, you know, in everything I do, even in being the teacher in the college and in anything I do in life in general. It just helps to pull me through, you know, the thick and thin, the hard times, and keep me positive, and just battling on, challenging yourself and never letting anything beat you, because the outside is the outside, the inside. You are here, you're what matters, you know, and to yourself at least, to exist and be and live. And you learn about the value of life when you understand about respect. You know what it means, you know, and you start to value others more, of course, too. And you don't go wasting energy and things like that, you know, and the mindset. But what I say though is, you know, yeah, so I've been working out every day. I wake up every morning, do some stretching, you know, stretch my whole body, just stretching. Stretching is very, very important. It's important to be flexible. We get tighter and like less flexible as we grow older, but we always must focus on it. And some people are amazing how flexible and healthy they can be in their old age even. So, you know, I intend to push on stronger as I go through, and you know, so I stretch every day, plus do some strength exercises throughout that, but like traditional martial arts ways, you know, things I've learned that I've incorporated from different styles over the years, and that I've built up and picked up over the years, and things that I've picked up from my own training and observing what I do and studying how to make my own body more flexible and stronger. And the combat all the way through it. I don't separate the stretching from the martial arts implications, applications, and things like that either. I try to focus on it to be a better martial artist, you know, because although you can just work out, if you're doing martial arts, you may as well gear the whole thing towards you. It's all about yourself. It's like you can be a human being and you can be a dancer, but that's you, right? So the martial arts is the same thing. Martial arts is your whole life. It's who you are, your health, your self-defense of yourself, protecting yourself, and your health, and you know, fitness, and that mind and body. So this and that. And so my martial arts has been built up over the years, over all different kinds of training, is what I'm trying to say. And I, to this day, still have my own methods. It's like I teach what I know from different arts, and I say this is this art, this is what I've learned from this, Wing Chun or Wushu or whatever, in a long fish. And I teach honestly. I don't know everything, but I know what I know about the different arts. But I know damn well that I've got enough confidence in what I do. If I don't have confidence in something, if I really don't know, I'll hold back. I'm always humble, and you have to be humble and looking at, and I make sure that I know what I'm doing or what works for me, and I'm just teaching that as a human being, my mind and body. That's all it is. But I've learned a lot from the martial arts. I know what I know about certain styles to different degrees. And I like to teach people different things: manoeuvring, basic sparring, blocking drills, lock-in, self-defense, utilising the opponent's energy against them, their force, so you don't go force against force. So a smaller person or weaker can overcome a bigger, stronger opponent. Things like that. Footwork, you know, arms, legs, the whole thing, you know, blocking, trapping, counters, and of course striking too, coordination, forms, exercises. When I say forms, I mean like patterns and drills and cutters and things like that, where you work a set of movements, either more or less, or alone or with someone, and you just learn a lot. Martial arts is a learning experience, and it's about life. It's not only martial arts to do martial arts, it's for yourself, and it helps you, you know. But I've said a lot in this video. I'm talking kind of fast. It's really hot. It's a burning hot, tropical, burning hot day. I want to go home now to have my lunch. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you more, okay? But my martial art is basically, that's what it is. It's like, it's the same as I think a lot of martial artists will say. I mean, my martial art is like this. And it's like, what I do is like a collection of knowledge, levels of knowledge from different martial arts. And I incorporate all to my way of being and my expression and what I know and what works for me. And I teach people and share what I know with people. And the same through videos with people as well. Constantly learning more, always looking out there for new information, always striving, always trying to find what I'm doing when I'm training myself. I'm always learning and improving and developing anyway. But also the second thing is, the say, like, I do have my own flows, my own flow. Like it as a whole, it is still my martial art as a whole art, a martial art of self-defense. Meaning, I might be doing boxing one way, I might go into a Wing Chun block, I might go into a side kick from karate. Someone grabs me from behind, I might go into a lock like you might find in Aikido. So I've definitely got my own self-defensive, free-flowing health martial art, you know, anyway. So I don't have a name for it at this point in time in this video, but you know, it's something that deserves to give a name. It's not about the name, it's about the flow of nature and who you are. But you know what I'm trying to say though, is like, I do have an art as such, where I should have like a name for it really. I've always been thinking about that, but it's like, what I do really though is a collection of elements from true traditional martial arts, which we have to remember, all of the traditional martial arts, the real martial arts, whether based on or worked off of previous arts developed before by other people, or arts that were developed solely by their own human practice of themselves. These amazing martial arts and skills that have been developed over the years though, certain people that invented styles like methods of Tai Chi or Bagua, these people, you've got to remember, they made them themselves. They created the art. They created it from balancing in nature, from whatever it might have been, exercising and working out on top of mountains and learning about their balance, or you know, and then working out certain blocking and striking methods of self-defense. They learn that, how to stand strong, a bit balancing on a stone in the water or standing in water. Different methods they've built over the years, they've learned from nature or from having to really defend themselves against forces or, you know, in fighting situations. They've learned and developed, and they've made these names. And it weren't about like only not being humble. It was about they were proud, and they were rightfully proud because they knew what they were doing. They had some ability. Not comparing to everybody in the world, but they had some ability. And you can't make everything work for every individual, but it's all right. It's okay for us to develop ourselves and study what we are really doing, not making up crap, but studying what other people do, humbly, not trying to put people down, studying that, finding what fits us from different areas of knowledge and information in life in general. This is what martial arts teaches us for any situation in a subject, you know. But it's like, you know, but you do, you know, and you learn. You know, and you basically develop so much, and from practicing what you do, you understand more about what you really do, and you know that you can share humbly with people. If people are willing to accept, they can. You see, your expression of art. You know, there's famous artists and musicians and people and sports players or whatever who have their own style. People want to learn their style of doing things, or maybe multiple styles. People who can write books or write novels in different styles, things like that, you know. Things like this, musicians and things, I'm trying to say, artists, you know, different. So this is what it's about. So my art is a collection of different arts. I'm humble with it. I say what comes from what. I would never say, oh, this is my martial art here. This is how you do this is how you do that. When a big chunk of it is like Wing Chun and you've got a bit of karate. It's not just some mixed up crap, and I'm just saying, it's like, I would say specifically, and I've got proper syllabuses for different things. If we're doing Wing Chun training today, or every Wednesday or Thursday, that's what we're doing, full on, you know. But I like to focus on main styles. I think it's better that people focus to get a very good foundation on specific styles first. And that could be, you know, someone's own style totally, or it could be, you know, a collection of styles. You know, I'm just saying though, but like, it's better to do that and teach the best of the best. It's like when I teach what I'm teaching to people, I try to teach a big block of it, a proper full syllabus of it. It's like Wing Chun, we're doing Wing Chun, you know, that's what it's about. We're not messing around, you know. But we go back, and then as we go on, as they improve, I'll start to show other techniques that might work into that. Because if you give someone, first of all, a load of things that just don't fit together, or there's no, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, if you get 10 people to this place, you bring 10 people here to work together on a project, they're not going to work on anything if there's no ground beneath their feet. They're just going to fall forever together. But if they are on the same ground, the same earth foundation here, everybody can walk on the earth, walk across. They might have to travel across the sea, fair enough, but they travel across and they can come together. There needs to be something to connect. There must be even a space, even nothing. It can be something or nothing, but you know, there must be that thing, that connection. There must be a foundation, something to connect to. So I like to first give the foundation. So, but in reality, you must remember in martial arts, it's not just about the art, yours or someone else's. It's about reality. So health for your body, right, that's what that is. But self-defensive combat, you've got to study how to block and strike and how to do different things, right? So it's like studying what needs to be. If you want to study the elements like fire and water, you need to know how to put out a forest fire. Do you need buckets of water? What works, you know? That's what you do. You study what works for what. You see what I'm trying to say? So you don't just put like things together and say, oh, here's this. You say you study, you develop what for what. So, but I'm just saying, you know, when I'm teaching, it's mainly just Wing Chun mainly. I teach like the Wushu form, long fist form, one particular form, basic one for health and fitness sometimes. But in all honesty, I like to teach certain things, but I have so much I want to share. I'm not boasting, I'm not saying I know so much, but I have so much I want to share that I've learned over my life. And if I had more time, and if I was with people, and if we had more passion, and I could really show someone a lot and share a lot with people, I'm sure. And one day I will be old, and I know that I might not be the best martial artist or master in my life, but it's like, I know that I've done my best, and I'm giving my whole life to the martial arts and study humbly. And I know that I will have something to offer young people that have never learned before. And I don't want to wait until then either. I want to do it now while I'm still developing, you know, in my young to mid-life time. And I'm not trying to teach people what I can. If they're not humble and they have not got the determination to do it, and patience and passion, then there's no way. But I've taught a lot of people basics over the years, but some people to different levels, no. But it takes a lot of hard work and dedication and focus. You can't mess around in the martial arts. And you know, there's a lot of schools out there who will happily take your money, and there's people that are really renowned fighters and been in championship fights and all this. Experts under whatever name, or so and so was their greatest teacher, and people go there to study with these people, and you know, but they don't learn as much. I don't believe you can bring out the best in people just by you know what I mean, because of your name, or just because of just putting someone in a ring. You know what I'm trying to say? Competition fights and then belts just handed out when you pay out the money. No, I believe that there's a lot of development in the true martial art, the true part of the martial art, the whole body, the mind, the spirit, the soul, whatever, the whole training. However you want to say it, the focus is so much in the training. You learn coordination, drills, forms, different things. You learn patterns and sparring, but like with the traditional arts as well, you know. Conditioning, mindset, philosophy, other tactics. It's just so deep, and I love it. I find it all fascinating. You might work sticky hands, you might work on certain locks, but being careful in that with who you're training with, you know. It's just great though. And you know, that's basically how I feel. So when I'm teaching people, you know, I like to teach my everything I know basically, and find a way to flow everything together and teach my way in the end product. But it takes a lot of training. It's like, because they've got to like train for a long while in, I mean, like, let's say half a year to a year of like my basics, at least in Wing Chun. But that should be like daily, really. It should be at least 4 or 5 days a week for a couple of hours training, you know, at least let's say half a year to a year to get some good basics in the drills we do, at least I'm doing, you know. If you can train like 4 or 5 days, you know, a couple of hours a day, 2 or more hours, you're getting good training. Non-stop, you know, hand-to-hand, blocking, sticking, learning sensitivity, learning about balance. And that's just that alone, I'm saying. Then extra time put aside, stretch and work out. They should be stretching every day themselves, people. Things like wushu forms as well can be trained, kung fu forms. Basics of karate, things that I know, like basic blocking and stepping and striking. I find all that useful. Just basic boxing combinations, things like that, pad work, conditioning. There's so much that needs to be built up over time, you see, but you can't let anything deteriorate. Where I've been training all my life, like, and so far, and it's like I've been training like all of it and not neglecting anything. Even when I was doing kickboxing, I kept going back to do my karate or kung fu. So I'm trying to say, when I was doing kung fu, I kept going back and looking at that. When I started exploring other things, looking into aikido, I kept going back to what I already knew from my 5 animal kung fu. For example, thinking about the tiger, how can I work that in? You see what I'm trying to say? And it's like, when I'm looking into things like Honggar or southern, you know, kung fu systems, I'll be still looking when I'm doing Tai Chi or some basic Tai Chi forms. And I'll be looking back into the Honggar and the hardness and the tiger, thinking, okay, how can I flow and then go soft and work on different methods. When someone grabs me from behind, when I chuck them down, how can I go into a strong stance there? How can I work these forms and cutters into free-flowing movement? How can I work this martial structure, traditional stuff, into when I'm going into boxing and I'm working the boxing natural? How can I work it? I was always studying it all, you know, looking into it, not just like going from one thing to the next and then changing with the times and changing with something. No, it's like you've got to look at it all. You buy a packet of coloured pencils and you put them in a bag, and then you go out and buy some flashy new black pens and you start drawing with them, and then for many years later, a year later, you forgot the beauty of your colouring and how to paint or, you know, draw colourful pictures very beautifully because you did not practice for a while. You know, the relationship between the colours and how to shade things. You know what I'm trying to say? You have to keep it all there. In order to know it, you know, it's just what you are, you know. If you practice football and you're pretty good at it, but you don't play for a long time, and then you start playing basketball, then later on you might come back and be really finding a lot of difficulty. You might not be any good anymore. If you get space astronauts up in space, or people living in a submarine under the sea, you know, or living in hard conditions, or out at sea, or whatever. You know, it's like they get used to their environment, and it's like next time they go to stand on the ground again, like these astronauts, you bring astronauts back to Earth and let them stand down. They're not used to like the gravity. They're a bit uncomfortable, maybe, you know, out of balance. So it's the same with martial arts. No difference at all. You get a tennis player and stop them playing for a while, and then just get them playing ping pong for a couple of years. When they go back and play tennis, they might have some difficulty. I mean, let alone swinging the bat. But it's like, you know, I'm trying to say the actual art of it, the actual way you're in tune with it, isn't it? So martial arts is a connection with reality and how you move and flow with yourself and your own, what you are is your health, and also self-defense. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to say, you know, that's basically what I feel. So it's like I always have to bring in certain elements. I train people in certain styles on certain days or for a good amount of time, months on end, and then I introduce different training methods and show that. But we have to review what we already knew. And it's just a matter of time and dedication, and also the individual students. If you're serious about martial arts, you won't just pay the money and go to a class. When I teach my students, I teach for free. I'm just saying that. But I'm just saying, okay, if you're a student and you go to a school and you pay money, like I did in the past, you know, you don't just go on certain days and that's it. If you've got more time and more heart, you will learn and you'll develop as you grow older. I've become much more developed and determined as I've grown older, and it's become really my life. Before, I was just doing martial arts in my free time and then thinking about it off and on throughout the day. Now it's like really part of me. Even when I'm just relaxed or just not even thinking, it's like it's part of me. I'm absolutely in it, like, and I'm always ready to do training. And the more you learn, the more you're interested you become. And you've got to always have that heart to want to train and explore what you know. You can't just think, oh, okay, what did we do last week? Let me think about it. You know, oh, I can't remember. Or like go to the class and then, oh, what can we learn this week? And you're always thinking of new things. That's very immature. That's that's natural in the beginning when you're learning martial arts. I was like that. And you want to learn new things and this and that. But it's like you learn more as you go along, and you have to. But it's like you have to study what you know. Study all the information that's out there. Try to get more knowledge. But it's like take it and study what you're doing. This combination, that. How can I change this slightly? How can I do, you know, things like that. Like when I learned weapon techniques, like with a stick or a sword, like kung fu, I also imagine if I put that down, if I had bare hands, how would I move in a similar way? It teaches you about your body, because the weapons, the tools, and anything you hold is just an expression of yourself, like art or anything, you know. So it's the same as if you were doing a bare hands kung fu form. If you was holding knives or swords for training, I'm saying, then you could still do similar flows. You learn more about straight line movements, round circular movements and all that. A lot of people say this fancy stuff is like fancy dancing and all this crap. It's not at all. And we're not living in a daydream, and it's not like kung fu films come around from people messing around. It comes from the original true arts. And when you say real martial arts, it's not messing around. There's people that do it like a stupid dance, but there's people that, the real martial arts come from the real history. It's real combat and real self-defense in that ancient history. Not because I want to believe it, or someone who comes up to you wearing a gi, but they just want to like con you. The real deal is the real deal. You know? I'm just saying you've got to study what you're doing and understand what you're doing. You will learn more the more you study what you practice, and practice what you study to be able to. If it's not in front of you, you can't study it. So if the teacher's not in front of you, you can't always ask him questions. When he is, you should. make the chance of the opportunity. But when you're alone by yourself in training, you might see a big mirror in front of a mirror, or by yourself, or whatever, or looking what you're doing. Just see what you're doing. Study, knowing what you're doing, and ask yourself what you're doing. Learn and think about what you're actually doing. You know, and think about multiple opponents. So you move slowly. Just imagine how you block and strike, and then go faster, and then you're working out when you're stretching and that. Feel your body, how fit and healthy you feel when you're working out, and then think about, okay, how can I apply this into my martial arts? How would this work? How is this helping my balance? How is this helping my structure as a martial arts fighter for self-defense? You know, that's what you should be asking yourself. You know, things like that, and constantly on it, and that way you will develop. That's like doing your homework. So basically, later on, you won't have to go back and say, oh shit, I learned so much through the years, but I've totally forgot everything. You know what I mean? You learn karate for a few years, you don't practice anything and you forget it. Now you do kung fu for a few years and you forget all your karate. Then you go into kickboxing, Muay Thai competition, you forget all about that, all the kind of, you just, I don't know what you're doing that way. You just, you know, you put an apple in your bag, you empty the bag and chuck it away. It's like you pick up a banana. You should collect, put it to use for you in your life. Your life is not ultimately a lifelong journey of learning and forgetting, wasting stuff, collecting nothing, ultimately wasting time and energy. It's just helped you to come to this point where now you're 99 years old and you're going to go in the ring for an MMA fight and you get your ass knocked out, or at whatever age. For that, you know, so someone can say you're the champion or you're a nobody. Come on, man. There's more to life than that fucking gold belt. It's just a piece of material, for fuck's sake, right? You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language. You know what I mean, though? It's about real life, you know, it's about development of the self, not for a competition match what's going to be shown on TV. Come off it, no. You're more than worth it than that, aren't you? You're more worth it, as I said before. It's not like you have to have the support of everybody applauding you, people, well done, otherwise you're worth nothing. That means these people are just so sick. You don't need people like that. You need to believe in yourself and understand yourself. That's what martial arts is about. I just want to teach people some basic abilities in health. I always try to do this. Health, self-defense, fitness, feeling good about themselves in life and control, and coordination, all that. That's sort of the humblest, true meaning of the martial arts, I feel. And the meaning, if I'm teaching more of the meaning, you know, and just some basic training, I think that's better than some people putting you through God knows what, you know. Training. Maybe it's hard working out, but it's like no heart and meaning, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm going to stop this video now. I want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this talk here at the Pagoda. Kung Fu Martial Arts for Life. You will go through your life and there will be people in all walks of life, in all different areas of life, to different situations, different subjects, not only about martial arts, but people will come to you and they'll be putting you down. People that are supposed to have more experience than you, more experience than you, or they know this and that about. And there's always going to be people, either older than you, sometimes younger than you, people that just come up to you and they want to say, well done for this. Oh, you seem to be getting better, you know, or they will put you down and criticise you. There's people that will criticise you also. And if you just worry about that, if you wait for the praise and you hope for the praise and you worry about the criticism you're getting, that's not going to help you. You need to study what you are doing. You can't win every fight in self-defense, so avoid trouble if you can. Don't walk into it thinking you're the big tough guy and get yourself knocked out or killed. But it's like if you need to defend yourself, you need to be ready. It's the same as if you need to run up a flight of stairs, it's just something important, you know, a fire or something, then you're going to need to be in good control of your body, good health, so working out. And the same for training martial arts, the techniques is very, very important to understand what you're doing. Just practice regularly, carefully, but realistically, with partners and friends, taking care. And then you'll learn a lot about movement. You learn from each other too, being humble. You don't have to outdo everybody. You don't have to get into a real fight every day or risk your life every day. But building up the ability. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like studying, students studying in college, the same thing. Students studying in college, they have all these different things that tests every day as such, with their study, with their knowledge, what they're learning and practicing, you know. But not every day is the final exam of the year, the exams and that, you know. It's like, no, it's like, you're facing this, you're facing the challenges, this and that, you're winning, losing. There's no winning or losing. You're still alive, you're still winning, damn it. You're still alive, you're winning. And then you have that day where there's the exam, and it's like, What gets you through is your knowledge and your ability to practice, and also your reactions. And no matter what happens, you're not a failure, you're still alive today. You can still carry on practicing whatever you love in life while you're still here. So all the arts are you, and you are all the arts. You know what I'm saying? If you are all the arts are you. You can't. It's not, as we said again, you know, that you know, jack of all trades, master of none thing. It's not that, you know, but it's like, that's a good thing as well as about it. Not the jack of it or such, but it's like, you know, big-headed. But it's like someone who looks into all arts or multiple arts, practices it all and puts it into not just one package of this, but it's like the package also into you, into yourself. Then that's you, master of none but yourself as such. You know what I'm trying to say? You are, whatever you are a master of, you are never a master of it. You are only a master, but you are a master of yourself. If you understand that there is no highest level of your being, I don't feel, because you can always improve in this life. There is no end result. I mean, you're going to die one day anyway. We're going to be alive here now. Then you will always be at more peace, and you will be the master of your life. So this is what I believe martial arts is teaching us, how to be a master of life and health, so we don't get hurt. Self-defense from someone's fist or from a disease in the air. You know, I'm trying to say that. I'm just saying, trying to keep it as healthy as possible and safe as possible, so the least harm comes through to your body, and to your body. And it's like avoiding trouble, respecting the self, development of the self. This is what it's about. Self-maintenance, self-preservation, strength, power. Being humble about it, not trying to speak someone else's way or learn their art to the full, like you have to be there, but you learn everything that fits for you and study it all and put it to use and make it work, and be honest to yourself. If something's not working or it can be improved, look at it. You can improve on your flexibility, maybe, and your strength. You can improve on what you're doing with your health and your habits in life. You can improve on making your blocks work really well. Maybe you know how to block the Kung Fu technique, you don't know how to block someone's fist or block, but it's like, you learn how to, you practice more and you learn more as you practice with people, and you learn how to work it. So just practice, 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 practice. Not to one day get somewhere, but just practice and enjoy what you practice. And you practice what you enjoy and enjoy what you practice. That's basically what it is. Live the life and love the life. Love the life and live the love. Live the love and love like this. I'm not being clever and smart, but you look at the opposite of what I'm saying here. I don't have to sit here and speak about all this or any subject under the sun or martial arts in general, but think about what I'm saying. This is the philosophy here. Yin and yang, yin yang. Now think of the opposite side of yin and yang. You've got nothing. Martial arts is teaching you to use everything, study everything and use it. It will never be to the full, and no thing is perfect, let alone yourself. But it's always the mind and your ideas. You've always got questions to think and this and that. So just enjoy it, relax, and just take the goodness from everything. The goodness, it's like the goodness of the fruits and the food you're eating. That will give you health in life. You don't have to drink, smoke and take drugs and talk crap to people, put people down, or worry about what people think of you. We're saying this lazy society, we've got a lot of good technology, but you know what I'm trying to say though? A lot of violence and negativity in the world, but my life is based upon the whole philosophy of the martial arts. That's what I'm talking about in this video, my philosophy of the martial arts and the training. Nowadays, when you talk about the state of the martial arts, just briefly again, I'll talk about this more, maybe, with martial arts now, it's like you've got MMA, a lot of MMA and sports competition fighting. I don't subscribe to that, as I say. And I feel it's very sad that a lot of the traditional martial arts, a lot of deterioration going on, and there's not so many people seeing the beauty or looking into the true traditional arts, which are not just because they're traditional, but because there's real profound gold and true knowledge and ability in them that does work in certain situations. I'm not one that believes that things develop over time, as in like things change, because we're still human beings. If someone comes to attack you a certain way, push you, pull you, grab you, strike you from any angle of different builds, however you decide to move your body or whatever physique you've got and the way you move and decide and to block or work a lock, but the structure of a human body is still the same. It's just the actual intent and the way that the tactics, how someone comes to attack you or in one or by the group. That's basically it. So looking at all the arts, when you talk about the development of the martial arts, I don't believe that there's such a big development and a change, that things have changed over time. Oh, the old stuff was the old stuff. I don't believe in that shit. It's the same. It does work now. if you're closed-minded and you've got less ability, that's what it boils down to. And I'm not saying, oh, it being so complicated, having like 100 billion techniques in your mind and you've got to choose one. I'm not saying it's down to the training, but the more training you've done, a lot of it, and you have more repetitions in it, and you have more natural reflexes in your body, you have more knowledge and ability. The more books you've read in your life have helped you. You don't have carry them in your mind every day everywhere you go, but it's like it's helped you in some way in your mind, thoughts, and your process. Is that? So I know you're not saying you might not reject it as such, the history, what you've learned, but what I'm trying to say is, but the traditional martial arts is there, and it's a foundation. Through now, it's like, what I'm trying to say is, when people say, like in the olden days, people used to do martial arts, and it was like, oh, they used to train it so robotically, just doing it formalised. Someone holds their arm out and trains, and then you block. No, that's not true. It's bullshit when people say, oh, that's only what they can think of. Like, it used to be like that. People just did moves robotically, artistically, and then nowadays, people understand about boxing and street fighting, and oh, so it's developed. That's not true. What it really was is that traditional training with blocking and forms. I'm saying proper good schools at least, you know, respectable, normal, not stupid schools. Proper schools that are doing those movements, formalised and patterns and working it. That training is for coordination and how to work. And there's different ways to apply those movements in different ways. You may not always apply them the same way in real life. But that's been ignored, neglected, not seen by people that they've not been exposed to this knowledge, they've not opened their mind up either. And all they've seen is a few people training robotically, and they say, oh, that's not in a certain way. And they've said, oh, that's old style thinking, that won't work in real life. Things have developed nowadays. And they just go and watch MMA and things like this, grappling, big tough muscly guys and beating blood out of someone's head. They don't really understand the techniques. The true traditional martial arts in ancient history was I mean, it's real art training. Anytime, even now, so it can be like, this stuff can be used to kill, but you should not do that. You should not try to hurt people. It's like the best traditional arts, I'm saying. You know, karate and kung fu arts are really, really effective, you know. Aikido, good Aikido. People keep putting Aikido down, same with Tai Chi and that, you know. But I'm just saying, they just don't get it and understand it. So what I'm trying to say is, that's what I feel about the development of martial arts. I'm not saying things can't develop and knowledge can't be, new things can't be found. I'm saying it's just the mindset of people. And what it basically is easy come, easy go, fast food style, modern technology, modern society, iPhone this, iRobot that. People are so shallow and so simple now, in general, in health and in their mind and everything. So you might get people who have got a big mouth and big muscles and all this, and they don't understand. And it's like, that's what, you know, this MMA and stuff like that is just an extra thing. It's like a part of that. It's a product of this modern society we're living in. And, you know, my God, you know, it's like the root, man, the root. It's like, the way I see it, and if you want to say really things have been animal, no, man. It's like if you run all day, at the end of the day, you're going to start exhausting yourself kind of thing. It's like, you know, and then trying to, like, I don't know what, put a fancy t-shirt on. You put a very light t-shirt on, tap out, or whatever. Advertise, carrying some signboard, yeah, I'm advertising Miley Cyrus or Lady Gaga. After you've been running all day, even if it's a very light thing you're holding or a light t-shirt, you'll just collapse. It doesn't matter how pretty you look or this or that. And this is what the MMA guys and the modern day training, no offence, I know it's good training and working out exercise, but I'm saying this is what these people say. They try to say that traditional martial arts is all fancy show, but they're getting around the wrong way around. It's like the true martial art was not about that. It was about real deal fighting, but it was also first and foremost health. But these modern day athletes who are also very good fighters, they've got the wrong idea about it all, and they're missing out so much. And they think they're the new thing. And it's all this. This is ridiculous. So it's what I'm going to say. You build upon things like the root of the tree. You can't deny that root of the tree. There's no root. There's no legs. You can't stand. So the root of the tree is like bigger and thicker. The root of the tree goes up and it becomes thinner, and it stays there from the root of the martial art. But they forget that. And they're saying the top part's blowing around in the wind, man. You know, it's like these guys talking. You know, that's what it's basically like. But the root at the bottom is foundation. The root of the true martial art has stood the test of time for thousands and hundreds of years. And my advice basically is everybody, including myself, and everybody should look into all the arts and try to find the goodness in them. Martial arts and all arts, and study everything. You know, and then you'll know. And never keep putting down things, either old or new. Just look into it all. And both sides shouldn't have ego. Martial arts is about humble self-practice, respect for everything. From what? From some work? No, from the effort of, from the understanding of nature. You can only understand it until you become one with it. You can't start trying to study nature from far away, because it's always right that you're part of it. And if you're not, if you're out of touch with yin and yang, basically, the Tao and the way of nature, the truth, you're out of touch with the truth, and only that vision of the truth in your mind, that's it, you're lost. So it's not about talking to a camera or talking to people without practicing. The kind of martial arts I practice comes from all the different physical arts I trained in the martial arts, and studied in life, and also the philosophy of it all and all of that. I'll talk to you again more soon, okay? Thank you very, very much for watching. Train hard and stay safe. Martial arts forever. I love all the arts. Respect yourself and humanity and all life, and do good. And we're here to value life and make the most of it. It's the most important thing. This is more important than the martial arts itself, even. You know, the Tao and the way of nature, the truth is not telling you to study it. So don't try and tell you to study it, but like the truth sets you free. And that's the same thing again. In my use of the term there, I'm saying no. The truth is the truth. The Tao is the Tao. It's like martial arts is martial arts, but it's like life is life. And not just like life is life. You go to work, you wear a uniform. Oh yeah, when you're older, you got to pay your pension. Oh, you got to put tax on this. No, it's like real life, and you study what you do, and you focus your mind and onto what you're doing every day to keep you healthy and fit in your mind and body. Exercise every day. Do some exercise. You know, don't keep exercising your mouth, and don't try to listen. You know, speak when you need to. That's what you basically do. You study it all, and you learn as you connect. Don't go into the library. You can't learn. You can't get any of the information from those books. You talk about, oh, there's a library down the street. There's a good library. Yeah, I think you've got some books in there. You can't be like that, you know. There's some good people in the world, you know. I'm sure there's some people around here that can maybe be useful to help. I can learn. You know, it's hard to find friends, you know. What the hell are you talking about, man? There's nasty people as well, you see, but avoid the nasty ones. If you see empty chess spaces on the board, move to that place. Damn it, you know what I mean? It's basically about, you know. And you know, that's what I'm trying to say in the martial arts, you know. So martial arts is teaching you to understand life more and reality. So if you're thinking about other stuff, worries in life, things that are hypothetical stuff as well, it's like you're trying to understand your reality. Come off it now. What are you faced with every day? Take the pressure off your plate, put the bags of rubbish down if they're too heavy, chuck it out. New fresh start every day, new fresh thing. Try this, try that, look into good things I'm saying, what's good for you. If something's bad for you, stop it. If something's good, see if you can develop upon it, you know, and work it, practice it, love it, nourish it, nutrition. Everything you do, everything you use, not using you, because you are it. All you give to this world, wherever you go, you can go anywhere. It's one life, you've got a body, you've got health. You can experience anything you put yourself into, you can make the experience. You're not a slave, you're not in a prison cell. And there's people in prison, some people who've got an open mind, people who understand more about life, but you don't want to wait and not value your life. You don't want to keep talking about this or putting yourself in negative situations, you know, and then trying to work your way out, and then later on, 50 years down the line, you start saying, oh, one day this and that, I learned, I changed. It's always too late, but it's always never too early to start making a change, and a good change. It's all about learning, and you learn from your practice. So that's what it's all about. That's what the martial arts is teaching us. Not only from the martial arts themselves, but it's teaching you about practice. So the more you practice that, the more you understand that. But the more you practice anything, the more you understand about yourself. How can you not? Because you always have thoughts and ideas about things. Even if someone says something to you and you disagree with it, or you agree with it, whatever, but you've got your own ideas, it's still there. You're seeing something, and you're working and making something of it. You can choose to destroy or create. That's what it's about, you know. So I'm going to stop this video here. Train hard and stay safe. Martial arts for life. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon. Bow. Epic.